So what's it like being autistic at Christmas? Well, hello to people, how you guys doing? And if you're brand new to my channel, I make weekly videos about being autistic from my experiences. So if that sounds interesting to you, click the subscribe button and that bell. It just lets you know every time I upload to the channel. And I'm talking about Christmas. I'm talking all things jolly, festive, snowy, sometimes, and just talking about Christmas as a whole and why sometimes it can be stressful, overwhelming for autistic people. Now, I am going to talk about different aspects of Christmas, but if there's something specific that I don't cover, or you just want to share your experiences about Christmas, let us know down below in the comments, because it would be great to hear from other people about this topic. But for me, one of the things that does stress me out a little bit around Christmas is presents, like giving people presents, receiving presents. It's something that you wouldn't think is a stressful thing, because it's obviously a nice thing, you know, giving someone something that you have bought, you've put thought into. But for me personally, I don't know if you're the same, when it comes to Christmas especially, I like to know what people want. It's the same for birthdays, anything where there's a celebration and there's like a gift involved. I often ask what they want, because for me, I don't like the idea, I hate the idea actually, of getting someone something and they don't like it, or it's not what they were expecting. Now, when it comes to me receiving gifts, I'm not too bad. I know some people don't like surprises when it comes to presents, you know, so if they get a present that they're not expecting, like it's a massive surprise, some people may feel a little bit overwhelmed by that, but for me, I don't mind it too much. Over the recent years as well, I've asked people not to buy me clothes unless I've actually gone out with them, bought the clothes, or they've bought me the clothes and I've actually tried them on beforehand. Because especially over recent years as well, I've noticed that people will buy me clothes that either don't fit, the material is irritating to me, so basically I'm not going to wear it because of the material itself, but also it doesn't fit. And especially when you get a combination of both, it's just not ideal. I know parents of autistic kids talk about this quite often when they have birthdays and things. You give someone on the spectrum a gift and they don't have the reaction that you were expecting. It's just about allowing the person to process what they've actually received. That's what it's like for me, you know, I just need the time to actually process what I've actually been given. So generally when it comes to presents and things, it can be a little bit of an overwhelming thing, but hopefully some of the things I've talked about you can avoid this year if you're someone on the spectrum or you know someone that's on the spectrum. Now, from present giving, we're going to go on to the Christmas tree, Christmas decorations. Recently, I went off to Newcastle for the day. I was meeting up with a friend and I was doing a bit of Christmas shopping, and the decorations were so bright, so in my face. It was, I don't know, it was like Twitter was screaming at me constantly, but with sensory stimulus. It was nuts. So generally when it comes to decorations and the Christmas tree and things like that, it can be a little bit overwhelming for autistic people because it's just a lot of visual information all at once. You know, the bright colours, the reds, and the lights, especially when they flicker and stuff like that, that really gets to me. Which is why last year when me and my fiance got this house and we bought our first ever tree, we got lights that were actually a little bit dimmer, but they didn't flicker as much, so they're actually quite nice subtle lights that aren't blinding and are not going to blind me while I'm sitting down in the living room. So when it comes to Christmas trees and decorations, I think when it comes to autistic people generally, I think it's just about making sure you're considering their sensory needs and just having to think about what's going to be less stimulating for them. Of course, you can't predict every single situation that happens. You're going out and about, for example, you're in a shop and there's loads of blinkering lights and stuff, but maybe just considering that in your own home might be a good thing going forward. Another thing about Christmas which I think we all struggle with, it doesn't matter if you're on the spectrum or not, lack of routine. Now, lack of routine is really jarring for some autistic people. You know, we do thrive when we have a routine, a regular routine in place of what we're going to be doing. For example, kids who go to school, they obviously have a routine because they're going to go to school. You know, there's a routine in place. Adults, it's the exact same thing. You know, I go to work every single day, I come back. You know, routines for some of us on the spectrum are our normality. It's the thing that keeps us grounded and makes us be able to do the things that we want to do. But when it comes to Christmas, and you probably know this as well, routine just seems to go flying out of the window, does a massive loop around the world for like X amount of days, and then just comes back hard in January. So when it comes to Christmas, myself and my fiance, we end up having a chat about what's actually going to happen over the course of the period of Christmas, you know, from Christmas Eve till New Year's Eve, that period where there's a lack of routine, a lack of structure. So I've got a bit of structure in my life, so I know what I'm doing, I know what to expect, I know who I'm going to be interacting with, who I'm going to be seeing. So ultimately it just prepares me in my mind for what to expect. But also with the lack of routine, you also have Christmas Day itself. Christmas Day, for me, is one of those things that can be utterly amazing, really magical. Catching up with friends, catching up with family, whatever it is you do at Christmas. I like spending time with my family. It's probably one of the only times of the year that we can actually sit down and have a proper conversation because we're all busy doing different things. But the thing about Christmas Day, which makes it a bit stressful for me personally and for some other autistic people out there, is the socialising side of things. Now, for Christmas, I don't see extended family. I have never done that. I just think it's a bit much. It's just really a lot. So typically, I just spend Christmas with my immediate family, so my mum, my dad, and my sister, you know, just keep it very small because that's just how we've always done it and it just works. However, when it comes to Nicola's family, a lot of her extended family live in the same area, so we all live quite closely together. So typically I'm socialising with the family a lot more, which for me is stressful because sometimes I just don't know how to spark a conversation with someone, or I just don't understand what they're saying because everyone's being really loud. There's kids, which, you know, kids are loud little beings. They're like really loud, so often I can't hear people, I can't understand people because people are just talking gibberish a lot of the time. So really the whole socializing around Christmas can be really stressful because you're putting yourself out there more and you're having to be more sociably confident and able, really. But the other thing about Christmas Day as well is that you've got the food. Now, I'm a foodie person. I love eating food. I mean, clearly I'm a foodie person, but when it comes to the sit-down meal and things, it can be stressful for one or two reasons. One reason could be the actual sitting down formally and having a meal with a load of people. That could be a stressful aspect for someone on the spectrum, but then there's the actual food itself. The food that could be on a plate, they may not like food touching each other, they may not like a certain texture, a certain colour, a certain taste. So for some autistic people, various things could actually affect them enjoying their meal. So for example, for me, I hate Brussels sprouts. They are the absolute spawn of Satan. For some reason, some people do mushy peas with their Christmas dinners. I just don't understand it. Garden peas are boss. But there's also other things like carrots, which I personally love. I love a good carrot. Parsnips, yeah, they're alright. The stuffing. Stuffing is absolutely incredible. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, stuffing is just amazeballs. It is amazing. So I think when it comes to autistic people, in terms of the whole day on Christmas Day, I think it's just about giving them that consideration in terms of the food, you know, what their preferences are, asking them where they would want to sit. If it's a table, for example, if they are feeling a little bit stressed out, they can leave without too much distraction. But generally, Christmas can be amazing. It can be a lovely time of year, but I think it can also be stressful, especially with the decorations, just the bright lights, just the surprises and just the overwhelmment. But definitely, if you have a think about the considerations of autistic people and just us generally, I think you can have an amazing Christmas and just generally having a good time at Christmas and not stressing out and just making sure that everyone's happy in a way that everyone can enjoy it. So there you go, that's my thought on Christmas. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like for me down below, subscribe to the channel, share your thoughts with us in the comments section. But for now, stay you, stay indie. I hope you have a great day and I hope to see you next time.